Everyone, we'll be with you in a moment. The Haggadah will be back up in a moment. Welcome. So wonderful to have you with us.
המלחמות או החושך הלא מוסתר, השיגעון הלא מוסבר, כי ההבנות והשיחה שלה, אחרי הכל אני כבר בא. את צועקת, את צודקת, אין תקווה, אני בא, אם לא תרצי בי אני אלך. אוי נופים גדולים, ארצות וגני ענק, טיפוסים אל ראש ההר, אוי הנפילות אל החושך הלא מוצדק, אני האיש שלא התייאש בכלל, חופים גדולים נהיים חופי שחר, התיאבון הלא מוסבר, אוי ההאשמות והסליחה שלה, אחרי הכל אני כבר בא. את צועקת, אני בא.
I can't use the second screen, so you may need to use.
אני בא, אין תקווה.
Yeah, it's screwing everything up, and I don't have time to work on it.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, finally got it to work. There we go.
Just waiting for some more people to join. Shalom, shalom. We have nearly 90 registrants, and just want to say as we're beginning, because we have so many registrants, what that means is those of you who have registered, please don't try to add multiple devices, because we have a limit on the amount of devices that we can accommodate, and if everybody logs onto multiple devices, then that will unfortunately not allow those who have registered to participate. So please, if you registered for one individual or one unit, please only have one unit on the Zoomcast. If you want to just watch, we are streaming on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and search for TBI Pomona, 2 words, TBI Pomona, and you can watch the stream there without having to take up one of our Zoom units. We have a limit on how many we can have, so hope everybody's doing good out there. I know we'll be starting in just a moment. So nice to have everybody here. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a minute. I have to go do a little housekeeping here, and I'll be right back.
Please be patient. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, I'm back. So amazing how many people try to join us. We just broke the 90s. We're into the 90s. We only have 100 slots, so we're quickly filling up. Just a reminder, if you do want to share it with your family, just have them go to youtube.com and search for TBI Pomona, and we'll be visible there. Expand my screen a little bit here. It's amazing now what we can do with this technology. It's also amazing how little glitches can get in the way of smooth operation. So I'm sure that we'll be going soon. You may know that we usually stream to Facebook, but somehow overnight our linkage to Facebook was unable to be completed. Something happened. We haven't been able to fix it. A lot of other congregations, a lot of other people in the country experienced something similar. But fortunately, we had an alternative set up by going to YouTube and to streaming there. So you hear the last minute cooking going on in the background here at our home. Hopefully many of you have dinner on the stove and will be able to eat together. Just to give you a little heads up on what our plan is in terms of the schedule once we get started here, we'll be going through the part of the service you're probably most familiar with, the part of the service that leads up to the meal, Shulchan Orech, and we will take a break, approximately 40 to 45 minutes, give everybody a chance to enjoy their dinner somewhat leisurely, reclining, of course. And then Rabbi and I will be back to do a relatively brief, relatively compact second half of the Seder. Of course, those who want to stay with us, we'd love to have you remain. We'll keep something on the screen. We'll hold the channel. You can feel free to turn off your video, turn on your video, whatever you choose to do. And then when we come back, we'll do our, Birchat Hamazon. We'll say the blessings over the last 2 cups of wine, and then sing some songs before we close. But it'll be a nice siyum, a nice closing to the evening if you're able to stick with us. And if you're planning dinner, I think we plan somewhere around 7:15-ish, depending on, hopefully we'll get started in a few minutes, 7:15, in between 7:15 and 7:30 to start dinner, but we'll give you an update on that as we get closer.
All right, are we ready, Paul?
Yes, we are.
I'm getting text messages from a few people who can't get in. I'm not quite sure why, but
Well, yeah. If
they
there's
were
some-
approved by you already supposedly, but they're just not getting in. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, my
So,
only concern, Rabbi, and I mentioned it a couple of times, that if there are people who came on and they on multiple devices, then that unfortunately would block others who may have registered. So
right.
again, I
Okay.
just please ask if you at your particular residence have signed on to more than one device and you only registered once, then please do us a favor, either share the screen of your companion there or watch us on YouTube, youtube.com, TBI, just search for TBI Pomona and you'll be able to see it. So, okay, because we only have 50 people on and we have 95 registered, so. And registrations are still coming in, but I don't know that I'll be able to approve them.
We're streaming it to YouTube.
I'll do one more and then I'll have to stop the registrations process. Okay. Okay, I'm closing the website. Want to get started? I'm going to go to the second slide there, Rabbi.
Yeah, if it lets me. There we go.
Take us out of Egypt, free us from slavery. Bake us some matzah in a haste. Don't worry about flavor, give no thought to taste. Oh, it's rush, rush, rush to the Red Sea. If we don't cross, it's a shame. For it's 10 plagues down and you're out. And the Pesach history game. One more time. Take us out of Egypt. Free us from slavery. Bake us some matzah in a haste. Don't worry about flavor. Give no thought to taste. Oh, it's rush, rush, rush to the Red Sea. If we don't cross, it's a shame. For it's 10 plagues down and you're out at the Pesach history game. Play Seder.
So our Haggadah is made up of lots of steps, and the steps are listed down the right-hand side of the page of the Haggadah throughout the service. We're going to look at the steps one by one as Cantor sings the melody, and then we're going to actually sing the steps as we go through. So whenever you're ready, Cantor Paul, you can go for it.
Lie, lie, la 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 lie, la 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 lie, lie, la la lie, 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 la la lie, la la lie, lie, la la lie, la la lie, 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 la la lie, lie, la la lie, 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 la la lie, lie, la la lie. Kadesh urchatz karpas yachatz Magid rachza motzi matzah maror korech shulchan orech tzafun barech halel nirtzah.
With grateful thanks, we welcome everyone to our Zoom Passover Seder. Tonight, we shall fulfill once again the Torah's instruction to remember the story of the Exodus from Egypt all the days of our lives. Whether we have many Passover memories or are experiencing our first Seder tonight, we joyously tell the story of the Exodus as one community. And we're so happy to be together, even though we can't physically to be together, to be able to be here in this community. And we're going to sing together. But let me tell you something about how that works. I'm going to ask that people remain muted throughout unless you have a speaking part. And when I call on you, you can unmute yourself because of the delay on Zoom, you can't actually sing together. So Cantor Paul will sing, and we'll sing in our own homes together with Cantor Paul. So we're going to continue how good it is for us to be together. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
So if you have candles in your home, this would be the time for you to light them. Take a moment and do that. The lighting of candles in our homes symbolizes lighting the lamps of our people. The spreading of light, joy, and the knowledge of God's way. We light and bless the festival candles tonight, marking the joy that Passover brings into our homes. So if everybody can take a moment and do that, and then Cantor Paul will help lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Yom Tov.
Sorry, I was having a little trouble with the slides there for a moment. The Kiddush cup that holds the wine is our symbol of joy. Wine poured into the cup is our hope for life's sweetness. Together, poured to the brim, the cup reminds us of the fullness of our days. During the Seder, we will drink 4 cups of wine. Each cup symbolizes a different aspect of Passover. With the first cup, we remember God's promise to our ancestors and every generation, I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians. Now we're going to move into Kiddush. You should fill your cup if you haven't. We're going to move into Festival Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, v'romamanu mikol lashon, v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav. V'titein lanu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ahava moadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom chag hamatzot hazeh zman cherutenu mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim moadei kodshecha b'simcha uv'sason hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh Yisrael ve'hazmanim. Chaim.
Now we join in Shehachianu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh.
The next thing that we have is a hand washing. That's a symbolic hand washing. There's no blessing. But I was thinking a lot about hand washing these days. And we've actually come to realize in our own sense these days that hand washing is a holy act that can protect us and protect others. And in our Seder, we lift our hands to elevate them. And we no blessing this time, but if you have water there at your table, you can pour water over your hands. That's our urchatz. And the second time we wash our hands before we eat, we will say the blessing al netilat yadayim, on the raising up of our hands. Diane and Jack, or either of you, page 20, the one that's on the screen, if you're able to, and I will unmute you. There you go.
The symbols of Passover are represented on our table and our Seder plate. On our Seder plate, we have a green vegetable, karpas. We have bitter herbs, maror. We have a roasted shank bone, sorah, a roasted egg, betzah, and a sweet condiment, haroset.
As we tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt, we shall explore the meaning of each of these symbols, as well as the significance of matzah, unleavened bread, Miriam's cup, and the cup of Elijah, which are on our Seder table.
Thank you very, very much. And Laura, is she here? Let's see. I don't know who was able to get in and who wasn't. Oh, there's Laura. I can't see everybody at once, but now you're unmuted, Laura. Will you read the following page on our karpas?
Yes. Karpas, blessing for the fruit of the earth. Tonight we praise God once again for creating the fruit of the earth, symbolized by the karpas, green vegetable on our table. The first growth of spring, karpas represents rebirth and renewal. In the spirit of Passover, before we eat it, we dip the karpas in salt water. We do so to remind ourselves of the tears shed by our ancestors while enslaved in Egypt.
Thank you, Laura.
Welcome.
And we are going to now do our blessing over karpas, which is now on the screen. Borei Pri Ha'adama. Cantor, go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'adama.
And you can eat your karpas. You can dip them if you want in salt water, your greens. All right. Is Lisa Block with us? I can't see everybody at the same time, so it's a little challenging here. There's Lisa. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm
Will you
here.
will you read what's up on the page for the roasted egg?
Yes. Even before the exodus from Egypt, Jews celebrated the creation of life each spring. The egg, like the parsley, symbolizes the beginning and renewal of life. Round without beginning or end, it also represents the cycles of the year and the cycles of life.
Thank you, Lisa. Lance, are you with us? Can't tell. Yep, there he is. Lance, we need to unmute you, so you go ahead, Lance. We have, hold on.
Okay, I'm good. You can hear me?
Yeah, right there.
Uh-oh, you just lost. There we go. Matzah, our bread of affliction. Before our meal, we shall give thanks to God for bringing forth bread from the earth, and shall break and eat the upper matzah, as a reminder of our dual obligation to never forget the bitterness of slavery and to keep alive the hope of freedom. We shall break and eat the bottom matzah with murah, a bitter herb, and karoset, a sweet condiment that recalls the mortar our ancestors used for building Egyptian monuments.
Thanks, Lance. We now break the middle matzah in half. If you have matzot on your table, you can take the middle matzah. The larger piece is going to be your afikomen that you can hide for others or from yourself. After the meal, people can hunt for it and return it so that the Seder may be completed. The search for the afikomen reminds us that it is the memory of the freedoms that have been lost that inspires each generation to continue the pursuit of liberty, tolerance, and justice. This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Halach ma'anya says in Aramaic in our Haggadah. All who are hungry, let them come and eat. All who are in need, let them come celebrate Passover with us. May it be God's will to redeem us from all trouble and all servitude. Next year at this season, may the whole house of Israel and all peoples be free. And now we're going to move into the 4 questions. We're going to sing them together with Cantor Paul, and then we'll have some readers helping us answer those questions.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה. Everybody now. הלילה הזה כולו מצה. הלילה הזה כולו מצה שבכל הלילות. Just wait for everybody to catch up. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מגבילים אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובין, בין יושבים ובין מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין.
Cantor Paul, you still have me spotlighted, so
Yeah, I know. I just noticed that. And
okay,
get
put
off.
it back on speaker mode there. All right. We celebrate tonight because we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt and God delivered us from bondage to freedom. Had our ancestors not been redeemed from Egyptian slavery, we, our children and our children's children would have remained slaves. Even if all of us were wise and educated by our study of Torah, it would still be our responsibility each year to tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt. To dwell at length on the remembrance of our exodus from Egypt on Passover is considered praiseworthy. We'll dwell, I don't know how much at length, we'll see as we move through. Avadim hayinu lefaro b'Mitzrayim, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and the eternal our God freed us from Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Is Doug Austin with us? Can't see. Oh. Doug, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, will you read this this page that's on the screen?
Yeah,
Great.
matzah symbolizes both slavery and freedom. Matzah is our bread of affliction. It is a symbol of our rush to freedom, the food we ate when liberated from Egyptian bondage. When our ancestors rushed to leave Egypt, they did not have time to wait for their bread to leaven. During Pesach, we eat matzah to remind us of our enslavement in Egypt and of the divine help we received during the Exodus.
Thank you so much. Bitter herbs, moror, represent the bitterness of slavery. We eat bitter herbs later in our Seder ceremony so that we will never forget the bitter taste of oppression. The Man clan, I know you're here, but have to find you. There they are. Yeah. There you go. Nope.
I
There you
think
go.
we did it. It was a team effort.
Yeah.
Karpas is a symbol of renewed hope and the promise of spring. We dip karpas in salt water as a reminder that our ancestors viewed the hope of renewal through the tears of slavery. Later in our Seder, we shall combine maror and haroset, Maror is dipped with mixed with haroset to remind us that we withstood the bitterness of slavery because it was sweetened by the hope of freedom.
Mitchells, are you there? Let's see. There you are. Thanks for waving. That made it so much easier to find you. Shana, can you read that page for us?
Go ahead, Shana.
A pillow on our chair is a symbol of freedom. Historically, slaves sat on hard benches or on the floor when they ate, forced to wait. Nope, that's back one.
One more.
Oh no, forward. Oh, there we go. Okay. Where was it? Forced to rush through their meal in order to return to work. For our ancestors, reclining on pillows or couches, eating at leisure, and engaging in conversation were symbols of freedom. Our pillows symbolize our ability to recline as free persons, declaring to the world that we will not be enslaved.
Thank you, Shana. Appreciate it. We now move into the four children. And is Orna with us? Yes, I see you, Orna. I just unmuted you. You can read this page. That would be great.
Okay. According to tradition, there are 4 types of sons and daughters of Israel. The wise one, Chacham. The wicked one, Rasha. The simple one, Tam. And the one who's unable to inquire or does not know what questions to ask. She'eno yodea lish'ol. Okay, by answering the questions of all our children, we begin to fulfill our responsibility to pass to a new generation the story of God's mercy and might and our hope for the future. Yes.
Thank you, Orna. Laura, again, if you are there, you can unmute yourself. I just allowed you to do that.
I am.
There you go.
Okay.
And you're going to read this page, the English on this page only, and then the English on the next page as well when I turn it.
Okay. The wise one. The wise one asks, what are the rulings, the laws, and the traditions that God has commanded to us? Our children are searching for wisdom and knowledge from the Seder experience. It is our obligation to help them gain a deeper understanding of God's teachings through the story of the Exodus and strengthen their commitment to the pursuit of freedom, tolerance, and justice.
Thank you very much. You can remute yourself. And I'm going to go Lisa Block. If you can unmute yourself, you're going to do the next 2 pages, just the English.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. The wicked one inquires, what is this service to you? By saying to you and not to us, our children are distancing themselves from their community. It is our obligation to make the Seder a source of discovery of spiritual foundation of Judaism to help them strengthen the bonds connecting them to their family and to their community.
Thank you very much. You can remute yourself, and then Lance, the next one. Unmute yourself.
The simple one asks, what is this? Our children are seeking to better understand the story of the Exodus and the importance of the Seder. It is our obligation to help make the Seder an inspirational introduction to the study of the Jewish people's struggle for freedom throughout the generations.
Thank you. Please remute yourself. And now I'm going to go back to the Fields Austin clan. You guys can read the English on this page and on the next page. Unmute yourself there.
For our sons and daughters who are unable to inquire or do not know what question to ask, we begin. You shall explain to your child on that day, it is because of what God did for me when I went free from Egypt. It is our obligation to help our sons and daughters become involved in the joyful experience of the Seder, so they may begin to feel a part of the Pesach story of freedom and discovering what questions they wish to ask.
Thank you so much, Doug. Please remute yourself. The one who is wise, wicked, simple, and does not know what questions to ask resides within each of us. By fulfilling our obligations for the Seder, we learn more about ourselves and each other, and we make the story of Passover our own. Some of you might have printed a Haggadah. We've set this up so it skips some pages from what you were sent. So if you see a page that you don't have, then just keep moving forward until you get to the page that we're on. Okay. So we are now going to tell the story of our Passover experience, our Passover Seder. So the Torah tells us that when a harsh famine engulfed the land of Canaan, our forefather Jacob and his household went down into Egypt. Joseph, one of Jacob's sons, was already in Egypt. Joseph had helped Pharaoh eliminate the threat of famine during 7 years of plentiful harvest. He was favored by Pharaoh, had risen high in the Egyptian court, and was able to provide possessions and security to his father and brothers. Jacob, Joseph, and their families, at first strangers in the land, came to feel at home in Egypt. After the famine was over in Canaan and it was possible to return to their homes, they remained, trusting that the memory of Joseph and their own contributions would keep them secure in Egypt. Joseph and all that generation died, and the generations of Jacob and Joseph were fruitful and had multiplied, and a new Pharaoh arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph or the contributions that he and his household had made to Egyptian society over the generations. And Pharaoh said, "The people of the children of Israel are too many and too mighty for us. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest it come to pass that when we are at war, they join themselves unto our enemies and fight against us." Our ancestors were then forcibly enslaved. The Egyptians set over them taskmasters to afflict them with burdens and to build for Egyptian leaders royal cities and monuments. Let's do a little digging, Cantor Paul. You there?
Dig, 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 dig your shovel deep. Dig, 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 there's no time for sleep, for it's work, work, work every day and every night. Oh, it's work, work, work from the dawn until the night. Oh, bang, 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 hold your hammer low. Bang, 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 strike a heavy blow. Oh, it's work, work, work every day and every night. Oh, it's work, work, work from the dawn until the night.
And so Pharaoh commanded the death of all sons born to our ancestors enslaved in Egypt. But Shiphrah and Puah, the midwives present at the births, refused to obey Pharaoh and did not distinguish between sons and daughters. When one Israelite woman gave birth to a son, she hid him from the Egyptians. After he grew too big to hide, she put him in a basket and placed it among the reeds in the Nile. His older sister hid nearby to see what would happen to her brother. When Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in the river, she found the baby in the basket. The baby's sister offered to find her an Israelite woman to nurse the baby. The woman she brought was the baby's own mother. When he grew older, his mother returned the baby to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him. She named him Moshe, Moses, meaning I drew him out of the water, and raised him in Pharaoh's court. Moses was adopted by the Egyptian royal family and grew to manhood as a prince of Egypt. When he was grown, he saw an Egyptian taskmaster beating a Jewish slave. Moses killed the taskmaster and was forced to leave Egypt, fleeing to the land of Midian. At an oasis, Moses came upon the daughters of Jethro, a Midianite priest. as they were drawing water from a well. Moses protected the women from a band of bullying shepherds. After the daughter told their father what had happened, he invited Moses to their home and soon offered Zipporah, his oldest daughter, to Moses as a wife. God heard the cries of our ancestors in bondage in Egypt. One day, while Moses was tending Jethro's flock, God appeared to Moses through a burning bush, a bush that burned but miraculously was not consumed. God commanded Moses to return to Egypt, to tell Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery and oppression. On the journey, danger to Moses and his family was averted by the bravery and quick thinking of his wife, Zipporah. In Egypt, Moses spoke the word of God to Pharaoh, saying, "Shalach et ami, let my people go." When Pharaoh refused to release our ancestors from slavery, God afflicted the people and the land of Egypt with 10 plagues, each one worse than the one before. It was only after the 10th plague, the slaying of the firstborn, that Pharaoh yielded and allowed us to begin our departure from Egypt. We're going to sing Go Down Moses, and you should all be muted, but at home, for sure, if you don't even sing the verses, you got to be singing Let My People Go. I should hear it coming through the neighborhood here as people are singing. So, here.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Thus saith the Lord, Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Everybody now, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Now the Lord told Moses what to do. Let my people go, to lead the children of Israel through. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Now when they'd reached the other shore, let my people go. They sang a song of triumph for, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go.
After this decision, Pharaoh had a change of heart and mobilized his army. As our ancestors approached the shores of the Red Sea, 7 days after the exodus from Egypt, they saw the Egyptian army pursuing them, and they were filled with fear. Unless we were able to cross the sea, Pharaoh would destroy us. God, however, did not at first part waters for our passage to dry land. The Midrash teaches that it was only after one man, Nachshon ben Aminadav, acting with the courage of a free person and ready to take the ultimate risk for freedom, walked into the undivided waters of the Red Sea, that God parted the waters. When the Egyptians pursued us into the sea, God saved us by causing the sea to close in on the Egyptians, drowning them. God brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and with signs and wonders. And God commanded us to observe the Passover each year and declare God's might and mercy to our children throughout the generations. Though our ancestors were redeemed from slavery and we have rejoiced to see oppressors overcome, our joys and triumphs are diminished by the suffering of others. Even as God saved us, God taught us not to rejoice in the suffering of other people. As the sea closed over the pursuing Egyptians, God declared, "My creatures are drowning, and you are singing." We now join together to recite each of the 10 plagues while removing a drop of wine from our cup. With this act, we lessen our joy symbolically. Our joy, symbolically acknowledging the suffering of the Egyptians, and envision ourselves casting out every plague that threatens our humanity.
Take our wine.
Everybody has their wine and their whatever ready there. We'll do Cantor Bush. We'll chant the Hebrew and I'll repeat in the English.
Dam.
Blood.
Svardea.
Frogs.
Hinim.
Lice.
Arov.
Wild beast.
Dever.
Light.
Shchin.
Boils.
Barad.
Hail.
Arbe.
Locust.
Choshech.
Darkness.
Makat Bechorot.
Laying of the firstborn. And now we have a song.
Well, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Blood in the water made the river run red. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh should listen to what God said. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Now you can act each one of these out, you know. Frogs were jumping in the Pharaoh's hair. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh didn't like it, but the frogs didn't care. 10 plagues in Egypt, count them with me. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Creepy, crawly, itchy lice. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Mess with the Holy One, you better think twice. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Filthy flies, so dirty and vile. 10 plagues in Egypt land, not exactly Pharaoh style. 10 plagues in Egypt, count them with it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Okay, everybody ready your best animal noises. Lance Watsky, you got them all behind you there. I want to hear them all. You got it? The cattle and the horses and the oxen died. 10 plagues in Egypt land. I won't give up, old Pharaoh cried. 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. Boils and blisters on his skin. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Give it up, Pharaoh, you're never gonna win. 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues, Egypt land. Everybody make drumming noises. Hail, rain down from the heavens on high. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Hurt so much, made Pharaoh cry. Oh, poor baby. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Well, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. Swarms of locusts ate the crops. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Hard-hearted Pharaoh, he just wouldn't stop. 10 plagues in Egypt. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. In case you haven't noticed, darkness has descended in the light of day. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Pharaoh was lost. Oh, he couldn't find his way. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Well, it does a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land. Firstborn, the final blow. 10 plagues in Egypt land. Well, finally Pharaoh, Pharaoh let my people go. Oh, yes, he did. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues. Egypt land, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plagues in Egypt land.
Shayna, I see you there. Can you unmute yourself and read what's on the screen? There you go. Thank you. Go ahead.
According to the rabbis, God honored Miriam's bravery and devotion to the Jewish people by giving her a well filled with water, which miraculously accompanied our ancestors throughout their journey in the desert. Miriam's well quenched the thirst and renewed the spirit of our ancestors as they overcame the hardships of Exodus.
Thank you so much. Remute yourself there. I have here a Miriam's cup. It is a cup that's filled with water that represents Miriam and became a symbol on many Seder tables to recognize the women's stories that are so often not told, but are told, are really the women push forward the Exodus story, from Shiphrah and Puah to Pharaoh's daughter to Miriam helping lead the people and singing at the sea, all of those kinds of things. And we have a Miriam's cup on our table to represent all of them. And now It's time to sing Dayenu. Let's try that again. And now it's time to sing Dayenu. Cantor Paul. Cantor Paul.
Now we're on
The
mute.
question is, why are we singing Dayenu, Rabbi?
Well, because there were so many things that God did for us along the journey. And the full Dayenu, of course, has about 20 verses of all the things that had God brought us to Sinai, but not given us Torah, had God done this and not done that. Each thing we should be grateful for. And in our lives, too, especially at a time when it's easy to remember, to focus on the challenges that we face in our life, to remember the blessings that we have, and that for each one of those things, we are grateful. Each of those things is enough for us to have gratitude. And now,
Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Oh, Elu, Hotzianu, Hotzianu, Mimitzrayim, Hotzianu, Mimitzrayim, Dayenu. Everybody now. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Oh, if God had just freed us from slavery in Egypt, freed us from slavery in Egypt, it would have been enough. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Oh, Ilu Natan Natan Lanu, Natan Lanu et HaShabbat, Natan Lanu et HaShabbat, Dayenu. Everybody now. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Oh, if God had just given us Torah, just had given us Torah, it would have been enough. Oh, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu.
so we have on our Seder plates some symbols. This is our shank bone. What is the meaning of Pesach? The shank bone reminds us that God passed over our houses and spared us on the night watch. When Pharaoh refused to release us from slavery, God afflicted the people of Egypt with the 10th plague, the slaying of the firstborn. The doorpost of our houses were marked with lamb's blood, so that God would pass over our homes and our lives would be spared. As God has saved us from all kinds of distress, so may God always inspire us with courage to remove every trace of bondage among all people. And the man, oh, hold on. Yes, the Man clan there, you're gonna do, what is matzah? You can unmute yourselves. There you go.
What is the meaning of matzah? Matzah is unleavened bread that symbolizes both slavery and freedom. It is our bread of affliction and a symbol of the divine help we received when we were liberated from Egyptian bondage.
As God has saved us from all kinds of distress, so may God always inspire us with courage to remove every trace of bondage among all peoples.
Thank you so much. Orna. Are you still there? I can't, because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see most of you. So, oh, here you are. I'll unmute you.
You.
Okay, go ahead, Orna.
Okay, what is the meaning of the maror? Maror is a bitter herb. It reminds us that the lives of our ancestors were made bitter from the oppression of Egyptian slavery. As God has blessed us with freedom, so may God always inspire us to be messengers of God's word to those in need of hope.
Thank you. B'chol dor v'ador chayav adam lir'ot et atzmo ke'ilu hu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, each of us is to see ourselves as if we had personally gone forth from Egypt. We're not supposed to just retell the story of the Exodus, but we're supposed to allow the story of the Exodus to go through us, to change us, to help to shape our values and the way that we understand the world. And so now we're going to turn to our second cup. We remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation, I will deliver you from their bondage. We drink the second cup of wine to celebrate the survival of the Jewish people. We remember how, enslaved in Egypt, we retained our belief in God, our faith and hope for the future gave us the will to survive, and ultimately the strength to pursue the freedom promised by God. And let me get the blessing up there. And come on, there it goes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen.
My voice changed. Unbelievable.
Who was that singing, Canterbush?
I said the amen. That's all I had to do. Chaim.
Yeah, everybody is on. He said everybody was. I know he said absolutely. This is unmuted. He's unmuted. We're on. You're incorrect. We're on mute.
All right. We now turn to getting prepared for our meal. It is almost mealtime, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the time that we wash our hands with a blessing. The blessing of Al Netilat Yadayim is actually a blessing of raising up our hands, of elevating them. It's not, we say the blessing after when we pour the water over our hands, but the Al Netilat Yadayim really means raising up your hands. So if you don't have water there to wash your hands, or you don't do that, you can certainly lift them up in the air as we say the blessings. And again, all the focus these days, that last night when I started washing my hands at the Seder, I felt like I needed to sing happy birthday 2 times through as I was washing my hands. And then I realized I had already washed them before the meal. This was a symbolic washing. So that was okay. So I'm going to pour water here over my hands. A nat la here, which is a special pitcher with 2 handles that's made to actually wash hands with. Pour it over a bowl. You hold it in one hand and then on the other, and you pour it over the other hand. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. And now we have 2 blessings over matzah. The first is the blessing that you're most familiar with because it's our hamotzi, because matzah is a bread. I know we don't think of it that way, but it is. We say hamotzi over matzah all throughout Pesach, and whenever we eat it, it's a bread. But because we're also commanded to eat matzah on Pesach, we'll have a second blessing specifically over matzah. So the first will be hamotzi, then over matzah, and then we're going to do the blessing over maror, or bitter herb. So get that ready too. And then we're going to make our Hillel sandwich, which will be to combine some bitter herb and some haroset in a couple of pieces of matzah, and we will make a Hillel sandwich. So Cantor, will you take us away with Hamotzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
So everybody can take a bite of matzah and then grab some bitter herb. And we're going to say our blessing over our moror.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror.
So it's traditional, as I say, to put some bitter herb and haroset inside with some matzah, and that fulfills that step in our Seder called korech, which is our Hillel sandwich. And we eat that together, the sweetness of freedom along with the bitterness of slavery, that in times of oppression, we keep alive the hope of freedom. We eat that together. And now it is mealtime. So it is now 7-Eleven, just like the store on the corner. Cantor Paul, what time would you like to come back?
How about we check in about 8 o'clock? Sounds like a good round number.
Okay, so at 8 o'clock, you're welcome to just stay connected if you want. Please, you can turn off your camera if you want. We don't have to look. We can, I don't mind. But you can mute your camera and your thing, and we'll keep this just on the meal is served. Or you can sign back in if you prefer at 8 o'clock. So probably easier to stay connected if you're able to do so.
Yeah, we'll stay on, and we'll see you back here at 8 o'clock. And everybody enjoy your meal, and see you back here soon.
שלי, ערבים מתפללים כי איזה חג. חבר לי מסע כזה בחורף, מסתכל, רגליו קצרות אבל ראשו חכם. שנינו במנוסה, הכל פה זז, הוא אומר, אתה גם אבא, אתה גם בן אדם. כפית מבעד לזקוקים, עיניים יש לו גישות, כן, כן. מוסר אחד הוא יהיה בזר, נראה לו אנושי וגם פוחד, אז אני אומר לו, שמע, יש לי אישה, זאת האמא שלך, ניסה אולי נגיע עד מחר. לא נראה, לא נפיל, לא נשים לנו בית, לא נגיע לארץ חדשה. איך נגיע לארץ חדשה. ארץ חדשה.
שכנסים עולות ולמדר,
לא נדרוס אותה,
לא נדרוס אותה, אנחנו לא דורסים. שקר שקר, אני אומר לך שחלב ושפע זה לא אומר ניסים.
הוא שולף מצלמה של כיס, הוא חושב שכאן העדן מדויק, הוא מכחיש שקר לו שמפחיד, צלם ושנזכור מה שהיה. קראתי בעיתון על אחת בתמר, שכל חייה סתם מעשים טובים. שקט, אני אומר לך שלא כל האנשים נולדו רעים, אבל אם יזמן לימד עד יזמן, אביך הוא ימות גם יום אחד. לא כאן העדן לא קיים, אולי קיים בדרך חדשה, נשמע אתכם. יש לי זאת האמא שלך, ניסה אולי נגיע עד מחר. לא נראה, לא נביא, לא נשים לנו פרטי, לא נגיע לארץ חדשה. לא נגיע לארץ חדשה. ארץ חדשה.
הכל היה ורוד, שב ילד שב, אני אומר לך שמשהו חורק בזיכרון.
הוא מביט מבעד לשלטים, אומר, עיניים יש כדי להסתכל. תגיד לי אבא, הוא שואל אותי האם ייתנו לנו בכלל להתפנות. חברים, למין מסע כזה בחורף כבר חסר לי. אבי ישן זקן ומסתגר. זה היה לפני המון שנים, הלכתי איתו דרך העיניים שכבר אין לי. עכשיו ילדי שלי אתה או מביט מבעד לזגוגית, אם יש לנו ארץ למה עוד אחת. ובחוץ שקיעה של יום שני, בפנים אני ורוחו שלך. אני קורא לילד שלי, אני אומר לו בוא ילד. הייתה לי אישה, זאת האמא שלך, ניסה אולי נגיע עד כאן. לא נעד, לא נביט, לא נשים למפרטים, לא נגיע לשם. לא נגיע לבית.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, for fear of what my life and my children's lives will be. My children's lives will be. I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water. I go and lie down where the great heron feeds, come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief, come into the presence of still water. The presence of still water. And I feel above me, and I feel above me the days like stars waiting with their light. I feel above me, and I feel above me the days like stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world. For a time, I am free.
וכמה חם. עונה נה 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 נשמע אתכם ובלילות דלתות פנייך נעולות ובימינך אף פעם לא תדעי, אף פעם לא תדעי כמה נסעתי בגללך דרכים בכף ידי, דרכים בכף ידך. כל פעם שמטוס או משהו נוגע בשחקים או אני שומע נסיעה אל תחכי, לא לי, לא לי אדם תמיד ממישהו אני זוכר איך בכי זה משונה כן, עוד יש בי משהו שאני לא מכיר ובלילות את לא תראי בחושך לא ובימים תגידי אף פעם לא תדעי הזמן המהורהר תלוי על השעון מחוק לכל דבר קוצב לנו את השעון כל פעם שאישה או מישהי רק נוקעת את הכביש איך אני נזכר בך אני מרגיש כמו כשהיית בי איזה ירח את ישנה ודאי ומישהו אחר חושב בך ידיי אינן ידי האישה וידיי המקנאות ובלילות תהי כתובה על חלומות ובימים אף פעם לא תדעי אני בשקט כמו גנב עולה על בהונות גופה עוד יש לי נדודי שינה והרהורי החטא תמיד אני חשוד במשהו שוטרים מדברים אליו האם כדאי לומר להם שגם אני לבד רק פעם שהכל יהיה יותר פשוט אפילו המילה אני אומר לך משהו שלא נראה חשוד אבל נשמע נפלא שימי לב
תבושי ולא תקמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי. בך יחסו עניי עמי, פני
שם היו בתים פזורים לי, שם ילדותי ומה איתי, אני אקדח טעון געגוע, וזה חוזר מבינה, חוזר אליי בחדר, כל שיר הוא זיכרון בלתי נמנע, באצטדיון נדהם וצר מלהכיל, כל בני האדם אני עוד אומר, מחכה שהקונצרט יתחיל, הלהקה כבר מוכנה, האצבע על רק השיר כמו זיכרון בלתי נמנע, אז לא ראית לי מכונית גדולה, מה אני ידעתי מה יש בשוליים של הרחוב היחיד שמעברו היו כמוסים סודות. שם היו בתים דומים אבל בלילה מבכלל הבדיל, ולפעמים משם באים אליי עוד ילדים, אולי כבר לא ילדים, זו לא אותה מדינה, זה כבר מזמן לא אותו בחדר, רק השיר כמו זיכרון בלתי נמנע, לא הייתה לי מכונית גדולה, בקושי ידעתי מה יש בשוליים של הרחוב היחידי שמעברו היו כמוסים סודות, שדות של אירוסים. ניצן ינגן לכם, הוא מנגן מדהים. לא הייתה לי מכונית גדולה, לא ידעתי מה יש בשוליים של הרחוב היחידי שמעברו היו כמוסים סודות, שדות של אירוסים. and seeds to be sown. My fate was decided so long ago. So I'm chasing the sunset because it's all that I know.
I was into the same world as you. I've had rips in my sails, many storms I've been through. But the fire inside me keeps my faith renewed. So I'm chasing the sunset, seeking my truth. And we all are one underneath the galloping sun, through the tides of the moon, ride the wild wind through the blue. As I am searching the sand far and wide, I hold tight to my loved ones and dream of their eyes. I went up on a mountain and there made my cry. I sang the Shema with the eagles, with all of my might.
Like you, I'm a seeker, been all around this land. I've howled with the wolves and held tight to your hand. And with this old guitar, I'll make my stand. So I'm chasing the sunset with all the strength that I have. And we all are underneath the galloping sun, through the tides of the moon, ride the wild wind to the blue. Slips away, we kiss the skies and pause in the chase as we declare Shehecheyanu. As we breathe in these moments of truth, as we breathe in these moments of truth.
Going to come back together in about 3 minutes for those who are still with us.
היום בקושי זוכרת, ואולי מסתירה מעצמי אהבות שרקמתי בחושך, מגיעות עד לפתח ביתי.
We're going live.
Cantor Paul, ready to get started again? Hi, Cantor Paul, you ready to get started again? Cantor, you ready? You ready there, Paul? Can other people hear me? Linda, can you hear me? All right. Cantor, can you hear me?
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Cantor, can you hear me?
I don't think we can hear him. Shh.
Cantor Paul, can you hear me? Everybody else can hear me, but Cantor Paul can't hear me.
Your audio turned on? Is your audio turned on?
Cantor Paul, can you hear me? Cantor, can you hear me yet?
Now I can hear you, yeah.
No, I've been paging you.
Yeah, well, I'm here now. I've been here the whole time. We just weren't hearing you.
All right. So this is the welcome back to many of you. We have quite a few of you here still. I don't know how many of you are listening to me, but we are back. We replaced the afikomen that's been found, and if you had an afikomen, you can share it around your table. If you didn't, you can have a little dessert matzah if you want as well.
Ben is off searching for his.
All right. And we're gonna continue with a alternative Birkat Hamazon, blessing after the meal. So page 61, if you have a paper version, and if not, it's right here on the screen, so you can follow along. You want to chant the first line, Cantor, and then I'll read?
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai, Chazan et hakol.
We praise you, O God, source of food for all who live. Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, whose food we have eaten and through whose goodness we live. Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, who provides food for all and sustains the entire world with goodness, kindness, and mercy. O God, who sustains and protect us, be mindful of us today, as you have been to our ancestors, so that we may find life and peace as we celebrate the efforts of all people who seek justice and freedom. May the one who makes peace in the heavens let peace descend on all of us and on all Israel and throughout the world. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
And now, cup number 3. So you can, if you don't have wine in your cup, you can put a little in. We remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and great acts of judgment. As we drink the third cup of wine, we celebrate the holy bonds between family and friends and our sacred connection to all men, women, and children of every religion, race, and creed. May the goodwill in each of us draw us closer to one another, strengthening the ties between us so we may help each other through hard times, as well as joyously celebrate good times together. And we together, let's raise the third cup of wine and say,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Chaim.
So the way this is gonna work is I'll share this reading, and then if you have a door to open, we'll take a little pause. You can open a door and we're gonna sing Eliyahu Hanavi. Elijah, of course, represents the future redemption. Passover remembers the redemption from Egypt, but also looks forward to a messianic time when the world has truly been redeemed. Has Elijah come? We do not see him. Elijah cannot be seen. He comes as the goodness that is in the hearts of all people. He represents justice and peace. Just as it is our responsibility to open the door for Elijah at the Seder, so too does it remain our obligation to keep our hearts open to each other and the doors of freedom open for all. May God grant that next year, all people may live together in freedom and peace. So if you haven't been able to do so yet, you can open a door, and we're going to sing together Eliyahu Hanavi. When we're done singing, you can close your door as well.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera ve'yameinu, Ya'avo eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Rabbi, we've lost your audio and your share.
I fixed my audio. And let me see, as long as my share disappeared for a moment, but it's not going to work for me. I was going to, as long as it was gone, share something else with you, but I won't. I'll just reshare. Hold on. And here we go. See if it shows up. Let me know.
You got it.
All right, good. So part of the next step in the Seder, if you look at the right-hand column, is Hallel, songs of praise. It's actually a whole long list of things from Psalms. We're going to do a very short Hallel here that Cantor Paul and I will read responsively here, and then sing together a Hallelujah to put a little exclamation point on the end. As a community, we give thanks for the teachings of the story of Passover, which we shall remember all the days of our lives.
And you can join with me. And for the symbols of Passover that inspire us to work for freedom for all.
As a community, we give thanks to God for our deliverance from bondage in Egypt, from those who have sought to destroy us in every age.
And for the reminder that in this world, God's work to create the Messianic age must truly be our own.
As a community, we give thanks for the love of family and for the gift of our extended family of friends and neighbors.
And for the experience of this Passover Seder that brings us closer to God, to our families, and to one another.
With words of praise, we celebrate
God's presence among us now and in the days ahead as we give thanks for the freedom we enjoy and our ability to come together and celebrate the festival of Passover each year.
Amen.
Amen.
And I know it's hard to believe, but we have a fourth cup.
There's more wine.
And now we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God. We dedicate the fourth cup of wine to shalom, to peace. May the one who broke Pharaoh's yoke forever shatter all fetters of oppression and hasten the day when swords shall at last be turned into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen
Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim.
Tonight, we have given thanks to God by saying a blessing over 4 cups of wine as we celebrated the sanctity of every life, the survival of the Jewish people, the holiness of our bond to every family member, to everyone in our community, and the meaning of shalom, peace. May this Seder provide us with new spirit and energy in the year ahead as we strive to meet the challenges to life's sweetness. May all people soon know freedom and peace. Now, I always really like Who Knows One. It's one of my favorite things in the Seder. It's the custom among many to try to do it in one breath. So it's much easier when it is 1 than when it is 13. This is one of the only things I do really well. So I'm going to hold on. I'm going to claim 13 for myself as we go through. But if you are if you click on your participants thing on the bottom of your page, there should be something there that says raise hand. Does it say that? Yes, it does. So I can say Who Knows One, and if somebody actually wants to do 1, you can raise your hand, and I can actually see that and call on you. Oh, I see already that Sharon Stein raised her hand. So Sharon, unmute yourself and you can do 1.
Okay, thank you. Happy Passover, everyone.
Happy Passover.
Who knows one? I know one. One is our God in heaven and on earth.
Thank you, Sharon.
Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uva'aretz.
All right, Sharon, if you can make sure you're muted again. Who knows 2? Oh, I see a whole bunch of hands up now. Now I don't know who to choose. Let's see. What? How about Lisa Heyman? You want to unmute yourself? Lisa, you there?
Hi.
Hi, who knows 2?
Who knows 2? I know 2. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. One is our God in heaven and on earth.
Thank you so much.
Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uva'aretz.
So there's a lot of hands up, but hopefully if it gets too high and you can put lower hand along the way, because otherwise I will call on the people whose hands are up there. So I see Nancy and Peter Ambrose. You can unmute yourself and
okay, we can't see anyone, but I can see you, Jonathan. But
right, we can hear you perfectly. So go ahead. Who knows 3?
Who knows 3? I know 3. 3 are the patriarchs, 2 are the tablets of the covenant, 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uva'aretz.
All right. How about President Dina Benjamin?
Who knows 4? I know 4. 4 are the matriarchs, 3 are the patriarchs, 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uva'aretz.
Who knows 5? Laura, is that still, you still up for 5?
I am up for 5.
Okay.
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, who knows 5? I know 5. 5 are the books of the Torah, 4 are the matriarchs, 3 are the patriarchs, 2 are the tablets of the covenant, 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shabbat Shamayim uva'aretz.
All right, I see some real hands in the picture. The problem, that's fine, except that I can't see most of your pictures. So if you don't use the digital hand, it's hard for me to see. But I did see Chuck Fisher there. Chuck, do you want to unmute yourself and do, I got to go back because I accidentally moved a page there. Want to do Who Knows 6?
Yes. Who knows 6? I know 6. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Sheba Shamayim Uva'aretz.
All right, Schusters. Oops, I went too far. Hold on. Schusters, you can, here, I'll unmute you. You there?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 7.
Who knows 7? I know 7. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tables of covenant. And 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz.
All right, I see Mark and Linda Feynman.
Weren't they just in Egypt?
Yeah, we still are.
We still are. Okay, we're on
Number
8,
8.
right?
Yep.
Who knows
Who knows
8?
8?
I know 8. 8 are the days of the
until
circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs.
3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz.
My son here, who isn't sharing his screen so he can see many more of your pictures, he tells me that Bev and Al have their hand up. So I'm going to go to Bev and Al Crespo. And
can you hear us?
I can hear you perfect. Oh, I could. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, here we are.
What are we doing?
We're going to do this one. Can you do it with me?
9?
9.
Who knows 9?
9.
I know 9. 9 are the months of pregnancy. 8 are the days until circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz.
Who knows 10? I don't see any hands up. Eli's looking, he's scanning. All right.
I can take 10.
Eli Kupitz says he will do 10. All right.
Why not?
So,
I'll just come over.
okay, he's coming over here.
All right.
Let me clear some of this stuff out of the way for you, because.
Yes. Stop eating me, Bill. You knew it's Erica. She's not watching anything, Bill. It's Jeannie.
Bev and Al, remember to mute yourself, please.
All right. So,
I can't. Yeah. We just
there.
You might have.
Is the screen no longer being shared?
No, it's not.
No.
All right, let me share it again. Don't know what happened. Here it goes.
Okay. I know 10. 10 are the commandments. 9 are months of pregnancy. 8 are the days until circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz.
All right, are there any 11s out there? Oh, Marianne DeMello. Can you unmute yourself?
All right,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay.
Who knows 11?
I know 11.
11 are the stars in Joseph's dream. 10 are the commandments.
9 are the months of pregnancy. 8 are the days until circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the passages. 3 are the matriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Eloheinu. Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz. 12.
I see that there's an Aptekar hand up, I believe, for what, so you want to continue?
Yes, Jeff Aptekar. Who knows 12? I know 12. 12 are the tribes of Israel. 11 are the stars of Joseph's dream. 10 are the commandments. Gotta raise the screen. I can't read. 9 are the months of pregnancy. 8 where am I lost the thing. Are the days under circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God in heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Sheba Shamayim Uva'aretz. And now the big one.
Who knows 13? I know 13. 13 are the attributes of God. 12 are the tribes of Israel. 11 are the stars in Joseph's dreams. 10 are the commandments. 9 are the months of pregnancies. 8 are the days until circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the orders of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the matriarchs. 3 are the patriarchs. 2 are the tablets of the covenant. 1 is our God on heaven and on earth.
Eloheinu, 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 Shabbat Shamayim Uva'aretz. So should I introduce this?
Sure.
Okay, Chad Gadya. It is a it is a story song, like so many other story songs that we have, not only in our tradition but in world folklore. An only kid that my father bought for 2 zuzim. We won't discuss the mythology or the deeper meaning behind this tonight, but let's suffice it to say, to some there is a lot, and to others there is none at all. So maybe you can find yourself somewhere on that continuum between now and next Pesach. So I would say I'm going to introduce it, and then everybody wants to volunteer to do a verse. We're going to do it in English. It's just kind of repetitive. Dum bum 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 bum. You'll get the idea when I give you a demo. Here we go. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. I'll do the second one too. Then came the cat that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Somebody take the next one. I can't play with you because we're not in sync. Rabbi, pick somebody.
No, somebody can raise your hand and I'll pick you. Raise your digital hand.
Laura Zuckerman raised her hand.
I just unmuted her now and she can go ahead.
Okay. Are we up to the dog?
Then came the dog.
Yeah. Then came the dog and bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zoos.
Everybody. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Stick.
Dina Benjamin.
Then came the stick and beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim.
Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Ooh, I see an Ambrose hand again. Let's go there. I'm trying to unmute you, but maybe you were unmuting yourself. So there you go.
Where are we? Water?
No, fire.
Fire.
Oh, let's go. Then came the fire and burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim.
Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Diane.
Then came the water and quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zuzim.
Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Lance Watsky. Whoop. I think I might have just lost him. His hand was up, but then.
Nope, here I am.
Okay, good.
All right. Up to the water.
Yep.
Then came the water and quenched the fire that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for to Zuzim.
God, God,
God,
God, yeah. Thank you, Joe Exotic.
Mitchell's. We're gonna do the ox.
All right. Then came the ox and drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father brought for to Zuzim.
God, God, yeah. God, God, yeah.
All right. Any hands for the butcher here? I'm looking. Ah, Marianne DeMello. Go ahead.
Then came the butcher and killed the ox that drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for to Zuzim.
God, God, yeah. God, God, yeah.
And the Hamans for the final angel of death here.
Second final.
Okay.
Second to last.
I get the last one.
Okay. Then came the angel of death and slew the butcher that killed the ox that drank the water that quenched the fire that burned the stick that beat the dog that bit the cat that ate the kid my father bought for to Zuzim.
God, God, yeah. God, God, yeah. Then came the Holy One, blessed be God. Everybody, okay, we're gonna do it together. It's a group effort here, except for Sam, who's too embarrassed. Oh, there he is. Okay, here we go. Then came the Holy One, blessed be God, and destroyed the angel of death that slew the butcher that killed the ox that drank the water that quenched the fire, burnt the stick that beat the dog and bit the cat that ate the kid the father bought for to Zuzim. God, God, Yah, God, God, Yah.
So we are going to sing one more song and then close our Seder. So Adir Hu is our closing song until we say L'Shana Haba'a B'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, next year in a world redeemed.
Adir Hu, Yivne Ve'to Bekarov, Bimheira, Yamenu Bekarov, El B'nai Ve'tok Bekarov. Everybody join us. Bachur Hu, Gadol Hu, Dagol Hu, Yivne Ve'to Bekarov, Bimheira, Yamenu Bekarov, El B'nai Ve'tok Bekarov. Adur Hu, Vatik Hu, Zakai Hu, Chasid Hu, Ivne Ve'to Bekarov, Bimheira, Yamenu Bekarov, El B'nai Ve'tok Bekarov. Tahor Hu, Yachid Hu, Kadir Hu, Lamud Hu, Melech Hu, Norah Hu, Sagev Hu, Izus Hu, Podeh Hu, Tzadik Hu, Yivne Ve'to Bekarov, Bimheira, Yamenu Bekarov, El B'nai Ve'tok Bekarov. Kadosh Hu, Rachum Hu, Shaddai Hu, Takif Hu, Yivne Ve'to Bekarov, Bimheira, Yamenu Bekarov, El
Before we go into our final Lishana Haba B'Yerushalayim, I wanted to thank all of you for joining us, spending this Seder evening with us. I know this is a year that for probably all of us feels like a year turned upside down. The people who are usually sitting with us around our Seder table are not able to be physically with us. We miss their presence so deeply and so greatly. And yet we're blessed that we have technology that can connect us to one another and allow us to share in this Passover with one another. So I feel blessed that you've all chosen to be with us and to join us for this Passover Seder. Next year in Jerusalem, next year we can be physically together, next year in a world of peace and of blessing and of health. Lishana Haba.
Pomona would be just fine with me. Lishana Haba'a B'Yerushalayim, 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 Lishana Haba'a
I'd like to just say one thing about these times. I want to thank Cantor Bush and the whole Bush family. He's been working really hard on all the communication, and thank you to the Bush family for being supportive and allowing him to do so much during this time to support the congregation. I want to support my family, my wife Karen, and my kids, and thank them for all their support in these challenging times. Dina Benjamin's with us, and Dina and the executive committee, some of who are with us as well, have been working incredibly hard during this challenging time to reshape our congregation, to help us figure out our path forward on the both religiously and financially, to help us to make sure we can serve our congregants in this challenging time. There are so many people who have done so much, and I want to thank them. Volunteers who have stepped forward to buy groceries for people who have delivered halot to people's houses for Shabbat. So many things, and they will continue in the weeks to come. And I just wanted to say that it takes a community, it does take a village in order to support one another and to make it through these challenging times. And I thank you for being part of that village, part of that community. And I want to thank all of those who have made this possible. Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach. May you have a wonderful and joyous Passover.
Well, and since I have control of the on-off switch on my end, I did want to take a moment to just thank you, Rabbi Kupitz, not only for your spiritual leadership at these very delicate times, but the role that you've taken on to really look after the well-being of not only all of our community members, but the institution as a whole. It's been really a power of example of leadership that I think we can all learn from and grow through. And profound thanks to you for what you've contributed during these weeks as well. So,
thank you, everyone.
Everybody. Lehitra Ot. Don't forget, tomorrow's Shabbat. We'll be back on 6:30 family service and 7:30 regular service. Hopefully on Facebook. If not on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube, on the TBI Pomona YouTube channel. And if we had more likes on our TBI Pomona YouTube channel, we could get our own URL. We just don't have enough yet, but we're getting close. So please go over there and like us on YouTube. Hopefully we'll be back on Facebook, but it's one day at a time. So,
Lehitraot, Chag Sameach.
No, it's subscribers.
subscribers. No, I think,
No, likes and subscribes.
whatever. Just click on the darn thing. Lehitraot.
Bye, everybody. Lehitraot, Chag
Everybody.
Sameach.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Chag Sameach.